Hey guys, Chris Amos here with Winding Road Magazine. I wanted to give you some thoughts on this car, just as some supplemental info on just kind of the driving experience, and I've spent a few days in this car already, so I wanted to kind of give you my opinion at the end of this video. So basically, here's how I sum up this car. I kind of had high hopes for it. And I'm really let down by the manual transmission. I was very, very impressed with the new Civic that I drove last year. It was an automatic sedan. It was one of the more higher spec versions. It had navigation and leather seats and all that stuff, but I was mostly just impressed with how well it drove and the premium feel of the interior, and it was a very nice car. I was very impressed. And I did like the 1.5 liter turbocharged engine. It had plenty of power, and the automatic transmission worked well. I had really high hopes for this Honda Civic Sport, the hatchback with a manual. I thought it was kind of going to be a baby Civic Si. And in some respects it is. It handles really, really well. It has excellent grip, very good turn-in. It has this nice fast steering rack that just is super sharp. I mean, it's it's about 2 turns lock to lock. Handling on this car is just phenomenal. Where it's let down, though, is this 6-speed manual. The best way I can describe it is this manual transmission reminds me of shifting a Logitech shifter on like a PC or a PlayStation or an Xbox. It feels so cheap, and what bothers me about this shifter is not that it's not that it feels cheap. It's that Honda has done so much better in the past. The Honda Accord Sport, the 4-cylinder, the 6-cylinder versions. Oh man, those cars, the shifters are fantastic. The Civic Si shifter has always been great. Granted, I've never driven a base, just a standard Honda Civic with a manual transmission, but I know that Honda can do better than this, and this being kind of a sporty car, given that it has the word sport in it, you'd think they would give it a nice shifter. It's just such a disappointment to row through the gears. It looks like I'm having fun on this drive. I'm kind of hustling around, and this car definitely does have some redeeming qualities to it. Namely, its handling. Brakes are excellent. Steering's really good. But where it's really a disappointment, and what would make me buy the automatic or just consider a different car altogether, is the shifter. Clutch pedal is super lightweight. There's virtually no feel. Gas pedal's kind of the same way. Brake pedal feels pretty good. And you can hear the shifter. You can hear how it just feels plasticky. It feels fake. There may be aftermarket solutions that would come out that would solve this problem in the future, but that's something that you don't necessarily want to have to rely on. You want a car to be good from the factory. And some of those aftermarket solutions may void warranty, et cetera, et cetera. It's just something that should have been right from the get-go. And maybe Honda will fix it. I'm sure it'll be addressed in the Civic Si. But right now, it's pretty dismal. And I'm not usually this hard on cars. In this case, though, because of how good this car looks and how sporty it is and how just complete of a package it is otherwise, this is one glaring fault setback that it ruins the car for me. So anyway, I know some other journalists have complained about this too. I don't think they've been as harsh as they should be on it, just because this is probably the worst shifter I've driven in the last few years, or at least the worst shifting manual transmission I've driven in the last few years. I don't think it's this particular car. This car only has 1,500 miles on it. It doesn't seem like it's been beat up that bad. The tires are brand new, or they look pretty good. Sometimes these press cars are beat on quite a bit. You'll get some grinding in the gears, but I haven't had any issues with that. So anyway, that's how I feel about the manual transmission. I had really high hopes for it. I thought it was going to be great, but it just isn't. The engine's pretty good. It's got plenty of power, 180 horsepower, 170-ish pound-feet of torque. It's a little bit more than that, I think. There's a little bit of turbo lag in the higher gears, but it works. It does a good job. It gets you, it rockets out of corners. And with the way this car handles, it's a good engine. It's a good engine and chassis combination. You hear that? Yeah. So those are my thoughts. Those are my thoughts on this car. I am sorry to be so harsh, but it's the truth, and I feel kind of strongly about it because I think Honda is maybe doing its customers a little bit of a disservice with how good this car looks and how well it drives otherwise, and then it's just let down by what should be the best part of the car. I've always held Honda shifters kind of up to the level of some of the best in the business. I mean, you get into a Civic Si or a Honda Accord Sport from the last 5 years, and it's up there with some of the best shifters I've ever driven. The manual transmissions in some of their sportier versions have been fantastic, and obviously this isn't. So anyway, that's my rant. Otherwise, it's a pretty good car, but get the automatic. Don't even bother unless if you're just learning and you don't really have a lot of experience with manual transmissions and you want to try it out. But it's just not an enjoyable. It kind of messes up the driving experience for me, at least. All right, guys. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video. And one of these days, we're going to test a new SI, and I'm sure I'll have way better things to say about that, because with the way that this platform and the chassis and the way this car looks, I think it bodes really, really well for an SI. I'll hop out here and just show you what the exterior looks like in this video. We're also going to be posting some beauty shots of this car with a walk around and a day drive, so stay tuned for that. I think it looks sharp. I think it looks really, really, it's a really nice looking car. There's all these accents here and there, combinations between red and black, and it's got these sweet centered dual exhaust tips. It's a really good looking design. And I'm glad they've brought the hatchback to the United States. So, there. I'll be a little bit nice. But mostly, I'm just going to hate on the shifter. See you later.